Kim Chernicki. She's our keynote speaker today. Her company is Freedom Street Incorporated. She is the CEO and founder of that company, and she works with executives who are transitioning out of corporate Canada and also small business owners and to help them define and structure and launch their dream service business. Kim came really highly recommended to us from a couple of our members that are on the call today. Once I talked to Kim and I saw the passion that she has for helping small business owners find their unique place in the world, I knew that she was absolutely the right person to talk to us today. She's got 25 years of experience and she's helped start and grow 8 businesses herself. So if anyone knows about the unique entrepreneurial mindset that you all have, Kim does. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing and I am going to put this over to Kim. So Kim, welcome, and we're excited to learn from you today.
Well, thank you so much, Melanie. I really appreciate the opportunity and the introduction, and really excited to be working with you today. Or speaking with you today, and I'm looking forward to a lot of fun. And I also acknowledge, you know, the anniversary of the pandemic. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, and that actually ties into what I'm going to be talking about. You know, it might have been tragic in some ways, but it's also a huge opportunity for us as small business owners. So let's talk about that. So how many of you on the call today want to grow your businesses? Anyone? Yeah? Okay, good. Well, that's actually what today's session's all about. So it's about creating or refining your unique value proposition so you can expand who you do business with and think about landing bigger clients, and specifically B2B clients, and to grow your business despite the pandemic that we've been navigating the last year. You know, as small business owners, women, we are at the core and heart of small business and have really been facing some unique challenges because we are women as a result of the pandemic and with our taking care of our families and so forth. So, you know, it's really my mission to ensure that every woman, every small business owner, and I work with a lot of consultants and coaches, that you can really fast track to 6-figure sustainable success through access to profitable B2B or corporate contracts. So although all of you, it won't necessarily relate to you specifically, today will really will be relevant for all of you. And I'm really passionate about people having businesses that are aligned to your unique passion and purpose, which is why I love entrepreneurship so much. When you really are living your sweet spot, you're going to do extremely well. So there's a famous saying that 80% of success is just showing up. So I really acknowledge all of you for everything you did to be here today. I promise it'll be worth your time and energy. So today's session is all about defining your unique sweet spot in the B2B marketplace. And specifically, this is about creating or refining your unique value proposition. By the way, I'm just going to call it UVP. It's just easier. I'm going to be saying the word a lot, so I'm just going to say UVP. So it's all about refining your UVP, or as some people like to call it, your 30-second elevator speech. Not in a lot of elevators right now, so we got to come up with another term for that. But really, this is all about being specific to how you engage with B2B clients and B2C ones. It'll apply to that as well, but in a way that's compelling and engaging and will inspire those clients to meet with you and buy your services or products. So it's my intention today to define everything you need to create or refine and create an impactful UVP that will differentiate you and serve as the foundation to grow your business with new and bigger clients. So I love this quote by Robert Wildeboer: "Never let a crisis go to waste." So, and you've probably heard this a lot over this last year. It really reflects the sentiment of a lot of business leaders, thought leaders, politicians, and the like. And, you know, while what we're going through is tragic in a lot of cases, there's always a silver lining in a crisis. That's just the reality in our economy, in the world. And in the case of us small business owners, we have the opportunity to step up and stand out and help address the needs of bigger clients. So when I'm talking about bigger clients, I mean small, mid-sized businesses. Maybe you want to go after bigger corporate, but I'm going to assume for now small to mid-sized businesses. they've been going through huge challenges, and they have a whole new set of needs that they need help with that weren't there before the pandemic started, right? And they need small business owners like you to help them. That's just the reality. So the key for us as small business owners is to be nimble and sensitive to what B2B clients need now because of the pandemic and as we, evolve out of it. And that means possibly pivoting your service or product offerings, or it could mean refining your value proposition so you can expand and build relationships with B2B clients in a whole new way. But literally, those who really step up are going to be successful, because the pandemic's been the big equalizer for a lot of businesses, right? So especially service-based businesses. So there you go. So session objectives. By the end of our session today, it's my intention that you'll be able to define your unique value in the marketplace. It's my point of view that every company has your own unique space in the market that represents your deep experience, your expertise, your perspective, and value that only you can fulfill. So we want to tap into that and to translate that into your UVP. I want you to get clarity around thinking bigger and who bigger clients could be for you in your business. Now, I know some of you, it might not be specifically applicable, but, I want you to think that way anyway. Maybe there are, strategic opportunities, strategic partnerships, so you could take your business, beyond the geographic borders. And we're going to be talking about that. I'm also going to engage you in a framework that will allow you to build a new or first draft of your updated UVP that you can evolve and socialize and refine over time. So that's what the objectives are today. But before we dive in, we want to invite you to participate actively. And I invite you to do this by using the chat feature. Let's just make sure I've got that going here. Okay, where is it? Hold on one second. Okay, for whatever reason, the chat isn't showing up for me. It was there.
Kim, it could be because you're sharing your screen. So if you go to the top right, there should be some, no?
No,
I can see it.
Yeah, it's not showing up. It was there and it disappeared. And I do this every day and I don't know, where the heck is it?
I can read the answer. I can read the answers out to you, Kim, if you want.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to do that. Because obviously, because the number of people that are on there, it's better that we do go by chat. So yeah, if you can read them out for me, Melanie, that'll be great. That'll be great. Now, if you have any specific questions that come up throughout the webinar, please feel free to ask them. However, we will wait till the end at certain points to address them, if that's okay. And I can't read them anyway, so Melanie, you can share them with me. Also, we're going to be doing some brainstorming around the content of your UVP. So please be sure to have a pen and paper handy. Of course, if you're paperless and you have another computer, but certainly we're going to be doing some brainstorming. So really want you to have that ability to take notes or write things down. So I'd love to see who's in attendance today and what your businesses are. So if you can just share your first name and a couple of words that describe your business, that would be great, just to make sure that we're relevant to the business. So if you could just put that in the chat, and Melanie, if you can just, quickly send that to me, that would be, or read that, that would be awesome.
You bet. And Pam is giving the good tip to see if Zoom has opened 2 full screens. She says hers sometimes does that, and they might be stacked behind one another. Okay, so we have Laura with Virtual Accounting. She is 9 months old as a company.
Nice.
Anybody else? Yep. Karen, virtual assistant business with business partner Beth, just launched in November 2020. Pauline, Everything Dogs Halton, 5 years last week. Leslie Bell, Human Resources, 2 years and counting. We've got Natalie Brooks, Brooks Heating and Air, celebrating our 12th year. BKM Virtual Services again. with Karen, financial administration services, including bookkeeping from Nicole. Andrea is website and graphic design for 12 years. Pam Davis, managing partner, Sparkatax Marketing, helping businesses grow through intentionally good marketing for 8 years. Linda Spencer, Visionspire Business Consulting, 5 years in December. Carrie Lee Jones, Amica Georgetown, Community Relations Manager, 14 years in role, new to Georgetown for the last 2 years. And Jenna sees the day life coaching, empowering women and carbon coaching business, launched January 2021.
Okay. So quite a few service-based businesses then. Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'll try, make sure. So thank you for sharing that. And I'll make sure that, whatever we cover today will be relevant to you. So great. So here is what we're going to cover today. We're going to explore what a UVP is and why bother creating one. We're going to explore the 5 key components that underpin an impactful UVP. Then we're going to go into breakout rooms to do some sharing and some brainstorming around 2 of the components. And then we'll come back together, and I'm going to provide a format that will allow you to, and a process that will allow you to be able to build your UVP, your next version, and then we'll be doing some socializing. So sounds great. So before we get started, I wanted to take a little poll and see, have you ever written a professional UVP before? Like actually, written one that you share? Just say yes or no in the chat room. And Melanie, if you can quickly let me know.
Sure. I'll also let you know we have Allison Clark, brand photographer, 9 years, and Suda with Grant Thornton Tax, 15 years experience and new to Georgetown, assisting with R&D and government grants. So we have, gosh, a lot of yeses. I'm going to say it's half and half for the UVP.
Okay, and that's usually typical. It's funny sometimes, even if you've been in business, you just kind of say what you do, but to actually sit down and actually create one is a really powerful thing. So even if obviously half of you have a solid UVP, the session is an opportunity to reflect and perhaps fine tune it, think bigger, maybe make it conscious in a way that will resonate and attract potentially new and expanded clients. So yeah, so that's what we'll do. So let's dive in. So what actually is a UVP? So I'm going to use, throwing the term around a unique value proposition, but what is a UVP? Let's hear your thoughts in the chat room. What is it?
They're all typing, I can tell. That's coming. An expression of why me and not the others.
I love it. This is good.
Yeah, what makes you you?
Mm-hmm.
How I can help people. Your overview of your business showing how you stand out above the rest.
Nice.
It's what makes you stand out. Not about me, about what I can do for others.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that might be it for now.
Okay, that's good. That's great. No, I love that. And I particularly like that, not about me, but what I can do for others. That's really powerful. So to build on what you've articulated, and so we have a working definition, a UVP is a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer, how you solve your customers' needs, and what helps you stand above or distinguishes you from the competition. And also at the end of the day, it's the primary reason a prospective client should buy from you. So if you're a consultant, accountant, coach, or provide services, I like to describe your UVP as like you have this wide 6-foot aura or energy field around you that represents the bigness of your value. But you need to take that bigness and condense it into a crisp statement that embodies your value and communicates it in a way that resonates specifically with your prospective clients. Now, if you're selling a product, then it needs to describe in simple and easy to understand terms, what the product benefits are and why they should buy from you. And you know, as a small business owner, all of us, you need to be able to nail that UVP statement, really be comfortable articulating it and succinctly, and of course, be able to deliver on it. So now that we have a working definition, I'd like to hear from you again in the chat room. Why is having a compelling UVP important? Again, let's hear from you. And Melanie, are you there to read for me? Yep, good.
I am here.
Good.
Let's see. I can hear people typing, so. Why clients should do business with you over others.
Mm-hmm.
Explains why I'm a better choice and creates trust.
Mm-hmm.
Explains what your service is or product and why you are different. You have minimal time to grab attention, so need to explain quickly and succinctly what you can offer them.
Nice.
For me, to educate the community, the differences between services offered. Always to have a statement that you can share with someone. You never know when you are going to be networking. It tells people why you and what you can do for them, making the initial connection with them. And connecting your service with your prospects needs to have needs and feelings around their problems.
The feelings. I really like that. It touches on the emotion, because I do think it's important to have that emotional charge or hook in your UVP, right? Very good. Good. Excellent. So you all have a really great sense of why a UVP is important. So to build on your input, you know, it inspires immediate interest from your target clients. And, you know, at the end of the day, it is my strong opinion, your UVP is your foundation. It's your single most important message upon which all of your sales and marketing activities are built. You're going to use it everywhere. You're going to use it front and center on your website, right? Front and center in your LinkedIn profile, all your networking opportunities, all your speaking engagements. So really, it is your key to business development and the most strategic consideration for your business. And at the end of the day, and a few of you have already said this, you know, it'll make you stand out from others providing the same kind of service. So when we say avoid getting lost in the sea of similar, we want to find your hook, that emotional charge we were talking about, and that unique combination of words and statements that reflect what's really great about you and your services and products. Okay. So in order to create your UVP, you need to answer 5 questions which embody the key components or content, if you will, of a powerful and impactful UVP. And so the 5 questions or components you can see here. First, who is your target client? What burning needs do you address, or specifically, what problems, pain points, gaps, and challenges do you solve? And we're going to be talking about those 2 and brainstorming those 2 shortly. What about you and your offering is unique and compelling? Fourth, what makes you distinctly better or different than others offering the same? And fifth, and probably most importantly, what results and benefits will your clients experience as a result of working with you? So, as I said, we're going to spend the next few minutes brainstorming the first 2 components. So please be sure to have that pen and paper or notebook handy. Now, again, we only have time to work on a couple of these components, but just know that I'm going to provide you with everything you need to brainstorm to create your revised UVP after the session. And the goal and reason for doing this brainstorming is, again, to come up with as many interesting words, statements, turns of phrase, or phrases that you can work with that will really create that hook and cause people to want to work with you and talk with you. Sound good? All right.
So yeah, so I need 2 seconds just to assign everybody their room. So if you have stuff to say, that would be awesome too.
What? I'm sorry?
I'm just assigning everybody their rooms.
Ah, got it.
Their breakout rooms. So I just
Okay.
need 2 more seconds to do that.
Oh, okay. But we're not going into breakout rooms yet, right?
Oh, right. Sorry. My misunderstanding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we're going to do some brainstorming here and then we'll go into breakout rooms. So, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the brainstorming process to create your UVP. So let's dive in and brainstorm question number 1, which is to define who your new expanded target B2B client could be. And so I want you to really expand your thinking and think outside the box here. Because one of the most important ways to growing your business and growing a sustainable business and getting B2B clients fast is being really specific around who you serve. And here's why. First of all, it's going to help you to focus and be deliberate about your business development activities and who to reach out to. It's also going to help you to find them and know where to find them, whether within your immediate network or your broader network, so you can ask folks you know to introduce you and make referrals. And I'll tell you right now, there has never been a better time to do some strategic networking. People are at home, they're in front of their computers, and you can be really strategic and really cast a wide net. So, and you can ask and people to introduce you and to make those referrals. That's what's happening right now. It's a huge opportunity. You also can become an expert and known as an expert in that specific B2B niche. And as you become intimate with your target clients' unique challenges as it relates to their position within organizations, as well as challenges within their specific industry verticals, you're going to get referred, right? When you're able to address and solve your target client's unique challenges, they'll refer you to others in their network. So really important to get clear on your target client. All right, now that let's dive in now. Everyone have their pen and paper ready. We're going to do a little exercise here. So question number 1, and I want you to think of having a magic wand here, okay? If you could work with one person in the world who could become your client, and I want you to think of a big expanded, maybe B2B client, one person in the world as it relates to your business to become a client, who would that be? So it could be iconic. It could be Meghan Markle. It could be Kamala Harris. It could be the CEO of LinkedIn. His name is just left my left my head right now. But if you could work with one person in the world as it relates to your business, who would it be? Please write that down. Okay, now put the magic wand away. Now we're going to go into, okay, your expanded B2B client. Okay. So when you think of your expanded B2B client, and think small to mid-sized business or whatever, what is their typical title? And by the way, when I'm talking target client, what I mean is who could hire you to work with them in their organization. So for example, as a business coach, you could go in, you would probably target head of HR, or depending on the size of the business, it could be business owner or CEO, right? But you could end up working with other people within the organization. But who I want you to think about is what would be the typical title of the person who could hire you to deliver those services. And I recommend no more than 2 or 3 titles. So just write down your preliminary thoughts. We're going to brainstorm this a little later or in a couple minutes. All right, next question is, when you think about that expanded B2B client, what industry sectors do you want to focus on? So it could be, and a number of you could work with, could be industry agnostic, but it's always good to focus on 2 or 3 industries, because then you can go really deep. You could, for example, financial services, maybe retail, e-commerce retail, could be technology, manufacturing. right? So what industry sector or sectors? Again, I recommend no more than 2 or 3, because you want to really go deep and become known in those industries and get referred. Doesn't mean you won't work with other industries, but it's always good to think about 2 or 3 you might want to work with. So write that down. Next question is, what size of business do you want to focus on? So do you want to focus on, small, maybe mid-market? Maybe you want to go bigger and go larger enterprise, right? Depending. And size of business could be number of employees, it could be revenue, but just kind of what feels right for you. What kind of size of business would you like to focus on? And then I want to pose a thought here in terms of geographic location. So do you want to focus on businesses that are local to you, maybe province-wide, national, North American, international? Because I tell you right now, especially if you're a service provider, we're doing everything virtually now. There are no geographic limitations anymore. Not that there was before, but right now the mindset is you can go big. Right now, I've just kicked off a 6-month coaching program that I do. I've got 2 people from Ireland. I've got 2 people from BC. I've got someone from Arizona. I've got someone from New York. And we're trying to see how many time zones can we go in now, right? So think bigger. Now, you might just want to work locally, and if it's certain businesses, you could open franchises. You could go bigger, right? So I really want you to think, where would I really, where would I want to work? What kind of organizations would I like to work in, right? Could be across Canada. So just write down some preliminary thoughts. And then the final piece, and this is really the litmus test, does your target client profile have decision-making capability? In other words, could they hire you or at least influence hiring you? And let me give you a hint. I wouldn't put managers as a target client. And it really, because it depends on the size of the organization, but managers for the most part aren't going to necessarily have budget. You want to look at director level and above who would have budget to be able to hire you. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people go in a little bit too low in the organization, and it literally can be an uphill battle. Better to go to someone, the decision maker, who could say, oh, okay, great, talk to my manager and she'll deal with you. So always better to go to the decision maker. So just put some thoughts there. So when we go into the breakout rooms, we're going to have you share your target client profile and get feedback. And by the way, just because you're focusing on a specific target client doesn't mean you're not going to serve others, but 80% of your focus should be on this ideal client profile when creating your messaging, marketing, that kind of thing. And depending on the audience, you'll want to tailor the wording of your UVPs, right? All right, so that's a target client. We're going to share that in the breakout room in a few minutes. So what we're going to do, though, before that is move on to step number 2, which is to ask yourself the question, what problems, pain points, needs, gaps, or challenges could you solve for your new target clients? Because B2B clients will hire you when you provide a specific solution to a specific pain point or problem. And the better and more specific you can articulate that in your UVP, the better chance you have to get those meetings and land those gigs. Because at the end of the day, people will hire you because they have a burning need. They need addressed, right? They might hire you because they like you, but they're going to hire you because they have a burning need that you can address, okay? So when you think about your target B2B client, I want you to think about what are some of the problems and pain points that they're experiencing as a result of the pandemic. Because I'll tell you right now, and I'm saying this to all my clients who are selling into corporate, your old messaging just won't do. It has to be relevant and specific to today and what they're navigating because of the pandemic. Now, there could be other things that needs and challenges that they've always had, but you want to always relate it in very specific and relevant terms. So for example, if let's just, you're an HR consultant. I think we have an HR consultant on the call today. And when I think about heads of HR in organizations, when the pandemic hit, they had their HR roles, plus they had all these different responsibilities thrust on them because they had to relocate everyone and enable them to work remotely, right? So they have a whole new set of responsibilities that was thrust on them. They were just absolutely overworked, right? All old strategies went out the window. Now they have to figure out and formalize a whole new set of policies, right, Karen? Whole new set of policies for remote working, for hybrid, as people start going back to work. Some people are going to want to, work from home and go back to work, right? Mental health is a huge issue, right? That needs to be dealt with. There's a loneliness epidemic out there. Employee experience is a huge buzzword right now. It used to be customer experience, which is still very important, but now the big buzzword is employee experience, or EX, right? And they need help with helping with the employee experience. Another one, this is not necessarily to do with HR, is digitizing everything. If you're a technology company or you help people with technology, the big buzzword is digitize everything. All organizations have to be up to speed in terms of technology. And by the way, organizations have to invest in their people or they're not going to survive. They have to. So what I want you to do is just take a minute and just write down what are some of the problems, pain points, needs, gaps, and challenges that you could solve for your kind of new target client that they've experienced because of the pandemic. And then in a few moments, we're going to put you in the breakout rooms and we're going to share.
Kim, I'm ready for the breakout rooms whenever you give me the A-OK.
Well, I would say we will go there. So this is what we're going to do. So Melanie's going to be putting you in breakout rooms. And I want, once you get in the breakout rooms, I want each of you to assign a timer, okay, that will keep time. And you each get 3 minutes, all right? I want you to be as crisp and clear and articulate as possible. So you each get 3 minutes to share. And what I want you to share is, number one, who a new target B2B client could be for you, okay? And secondly, I want you to share what pain points or needs do they have as a result of the pandemic or otherwise that you could potentially help with, okay? So 3 minutes each, share your target B2B client and what pain points or needs that they have that you could potentially help them with. All right, so I think we've got about 20 minutes. And Melanie, if you want to put people in the breakout rooms and I'll come visit and observe, that'll be great. And then we'll come back together after that and debrief.
Awesome. So everyone, I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. If you find yourself in Zoom limbo and you're not in a breakout room, just come back to the main session and I'll assign you a room. Here we go. So, and we're going to do 15 to 20 minutes and have you come back. Okay, bye.
All right, is everyone back? Okay, great. So how was that? Would anyone like to share an insight that they had from, just exploring this in terms of a new target client or a pain point or need you hadn't talked about before? Would anyone like to share? Oh, I've got my chat. So you can just say yes in the chat box. I can actually see the chat now. Anyone like to share? Just say yes and I'll call you out. No big insights. Okay, no worries at all. All right. So what we're going to do now. Yes.
Kim, can I share something?
Absolutely.
I just want to say that I really found from your presentation that this isn't just for individuals that are in business. I really found that for the chamber, this is going to be really useful for us. I think at different times in business, you need to reevaluate who your ideal client is and if you're servicing them properly. So I'm definitely going to be taking this and using it to kind of redefine who we are. And I think that the big takeaways I saw in the chat were that, this is a process, right? It's not something that we know intrinsically. So I think the tips that you gave us were super valuable to kind of start working on that.
Okay, good. And I'm going to keep going because I've got a little bit more to share. So, so thank you, Melanie. So, we talked about there was 5 elements. We just talked about the first 2, your target client and the pain point, needs, gaps, and challenges. So let's move on to step number 3. And that's specifically what makes you and your offering or product unique and compelling. So when we're done the session today, I'm going to be sharing this deck, by the way, with Melanie, who will send it out to all of you, so you'll have this. But what I invite you to do is to brainstorm everything you can think of about you and the value you add as a person, like your strengths, your experience, as well as what you offer that's unique and compelling. And let me add a caveat to that, because sometimes people get a little stuck on the word unique. Then just think about what about you is great, unique and compelling, because it might be the unique combination of a couple of things that you're great at that will define your uniqueness in terms of how you will position yourself in your UVP. So I invite you to really get clear and brainstorm, what about me? What about my service offerings are unique and compelling, right? So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is, so when you're thinking about what makes you and your offering great, unique, and compelling, I want you to take it a step further and think, how are you different or better than your competition? So how are you going to, how are you going to be different and be able to position yourself relative and next to businesses offering something similar to you? And, I always say that you need to have at least one thing that is better or different. Could be price, it could be value, it could be your experience, it could be that you speak 3 languages, whatever that is. So how are you going to be different or better than, others who could be doing something similar? Could be location. And then finally, and this is step number 5, and this is probably one of the most important things for creating a powerful and impactful UVP, and that is, what results and benefits will your clients experience as a result of doing business with you? And what I invite you to do is to write out as many results and benefits that you can think of, both qualitative and quantitative. So I want you to think return on investment. I want you to think business case. So what I mean by that is qualitative is, could be, well, I'll start with quantitative, to quantify something. So for example, you will help people drive 25% more sales, maybe 10% more gross profit, right? So that's quantitative. What I mean by qualitative is maybe you help people break through limiting beliefs. Maybe you help create alignment between stakeholders, right? So you want to think of all the results and benefits that you can think of, quantifiable, qualitative, and otherwise. Now, now that you, after you finish brainstorming the 5 elements that underpin the brainstorming, let me show you the formula that can help you to create yours. So this is how we're going to create your UVP. I'm going to provide you with a template that you can use to start. And that is, here you go. I help or work with, insert target client, who want to insert benefit number 1 and benefit number 2, so that you avoid a pain point or challenge. So this is a preliminary format that can help you form the structure of your UVP. And if you'll notice, it forces you to do it from the WIFM, what's in it for the client. So someone said earlier, it's not about what you do, but what you can do for your client. That's what this focus will help you to do, okay? Now, As you put this together and eventually wordsmith it and tweak it, you'll ultimately tweak the content so that it reflects attributes about you. But the primary focus is always on what you can do for them. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's how you can go about it. And here's the process to complete your UVP. So after the webinar, take time to further brainstorm all those 5 elements of your UVP, because you want to create as many interesting words, statements, and phrases as possible. So you'll avoid those motherhood and apple pie statements. You know, those generic sounding statements that everyone has. So you want to do that. Then, using a highlighter or pen, circle the words and statements, the elements that really resonate for you or pop for you. Okay. It can be 30 words or statements. It doesn't matter. Okay. Then create a first draft of your UVP using the format that I provided here. That's, this template here. But I invite you to create 3 separate drafts quickly without analyzing. And that's the key. Trust me on this process. Using the elements, different words and statements that you identified or circled, right? Then finally, choose a draft that you like the best, then tweak it and wordsmith it until it feels right and includes all your best thinking. So to manage your expectations as you start thinking about, a new improved UVP, know that formulating a UVP can be challenging. Some people get it right away. However, with most people, it takes time to get it right. But you'll know because it'll feel natural. It'll feel inspiring, and you'll feel like you can really own it. Also, when people hear it, they'll get what you do and go, oh, really? Tell me more. And that's really exciting. And part of the process of honing your UVP includes socializing it and consciously rewording it until it hits the mark. And again, this can take time. I know it took me a better part of half a year to really nail one of my UVPs. I'm about to share 2 of them with you to give you some examples. People used to say, well, what is it that you do? It's really frustrating. But going through this process really helped me to get it and able to help other people to create theirs. So on that note, I'm going to share 3 different UVPs. The first 2 are mine. I've got 2 different ones. And these can help you to work on updating yours. And here is my first one. So, and this follows the template that I shared with you. So I work with executives transitioning out of corporate who want to define, structure, and launch their dream consulting or coaching business and win their first 3 clients fast, so that, there's the so that statement, they don't have to go back to a job or a role they're not aligned with anymore. So that's UVP example number 1. UVP example number 2. Now with this one, and Karen and Beth, I know I worked on their UVPs with them, is using a killer statistic. So did you know that corporate Canada spends over $500 billion annually on third-party service providers, right? So there's a killer statistic. And then, I'm Canada's leading expert in helping consultants and small business owners tap into the share of that spend and secure a steady roster of lucrative corporate clients so they can build a 6-figure, 7-figure business and live a life they love. So that is another example of a UVP statement. And then UVP example number 3, you just want to have a quick read. This is one of my clients, Eva. So those are 3 examples of UVPs that can specifically address pain points. And just finally, just a little checklist for you here in terms of elements of a great UVP. You want it to be as clear and concise as possible and easy to understand. There's a school of thought that says a 10-year-old should be able to understand your UVP statement. I don't mean that literally, but you get the sense of that, right? It creates a hook. So people will go, oh, tell me more. So it has that emotional charge. And no motherhood and apple pie. In other words, you want to have your UVPs be specific and not really generic sounding. And that is it. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like?